Okay. Firstly, I just quickly apologise for my voice. I'm pretty ill at the moment. That's the weather if you want to compare laps in the same conditions. Just quickly through this. Okay, so turn one, braking on the 100, just slightly after the 100. Down to second gear. And get nice and close to the apex, but don't touch the curb. You can run up onto the curb here. I don't think you really gain a lot from the extra track width because it unsettles the car as you're accelerating anyway. You see me driving up the middle of the road. This is a habit. Some of the modern GT cars, you gain a little bit of top speed by running down the center of the camber. It like lowers the ride height slightly. It doesn't actually seem to have that much effect on the Audi with the setup I'm using here, but I'm just doing it because it's a habit. I did try driving down the center and just picking a side, and considering it's a multi-class series, I would recommend not driving down the center of the straights race. Okay, so braking is just before the 100 for turn 2. Down to third gear is what I'm using here, but second works too, so it really depends. I think with second you can carry a little bit more entry speed and get the better rotation with the extra downshift, but you lose a bit of time on the exit because you have to make the shift back up again. So whatever works best for you. Again, don't hit the apex curb. Hit the apex, obviously, but not the curb. And then on the exit, you can run up on top of that curb if you want to. I didn't here. And then get the car back over to the right. This is probably one of the most difficult braking zones. You will have seen on the onboard that I was actually steering right towards the wall on this lap, which is what I was talking about last week about braking. It might have been last week or the week before. Braking and feeling the back of the car like floating. So you can see here as I'm trail braking, I'm not braking. I usually brake about 50–60%. I'm not braking as hard as I normally would because we're trying to turn while we're slowing down, and you can see that I'm actually turning right slightly. So also while we're worrying about all that, shifting down to second, and then get as wide as you can in this braking zone. Just be aware that if you do go wheels to the right of the line, it does kind of dip down a little bit. So you'll feel that it can kind of unsettle the car a bit, but it's not too bad. So then nice and tight to the apex, and back on the throttle early, and then you want to kind of compromise between setting up this next corner, but also you don't want to slow down too much to set it up. So kind of get back to the center of the track. And then here I'm too shallow, so you'll see what happens to me. There's a bump here, just there. You just hear the revs rise, and then because I didn't get the car over to the left enough, I probably should have been another half a car's width over this way. I run out of road on the exit here, only just clipped the wall. So that probably cost me a little bit of time, but that line is pretty much what you're trying to do. You should be trying to carry as much speed as you can through there because you're starting to go uphill. So any kind of momentum lost is hard to get back. But then the track gives you a little bit of extra width here, so you can get over the white line to set up Reed Park. Again, don't hit the actual curb because it will bounce the car, make it very hard to not hit the wall on the left. And you see I'm not really, I don't think I really use the brake, no. So just lifting. So then here, it's probably better to watch the onboard actually, but my eye line is this apex, and then I'm looking at the Etihad sign. Get down. This drain is quite a good reference point of when you want to sort of start turning, or I mean I'm already turning before that, but yeah, so I would say the first, or the middle Etihad sign, and when you can see that drain, that's when you're braking. Just really light braking, because if you brake too hard, you're gonna overwork the fronts and understeer, and then that's pretty much game over here. So nice and gentle with the brake. And then again, same old story. Don't hit the apex curve. And then I just add a little lift. I think, yeah, a little lift on the apex, and then that's about as close as you can get to that wall without touching it. You know you're getting that corner right when you feel the car go up on that curb. And then it drops back off the curb, and then you feel it go back up on that curb. That's you've got the line pretty good there. And then the hitting the apex here is quite tricky because you can't see it. You just kind of have to get a rhythm. But it's sort of as you crest, you want to have started to turn in, but gently. And then I'm not braking again, just lifting. And then you can use this apex curb. So you basically want to get right up to the wall. That's a risky game using that outside curb there. It can unsail the car. The Audi seems to deal with it pretty well though, so not too much of an issue. And then back over to the left. Again, it's kind of the same as McPhillamy. Excuse me. Kind of the same as McPhillamy. Skyline is kind of blind, so you just have to get a feel for it. And as close to this wall as you can. And then you want to get this braking zone as straight as possible, all the way down to the dipper. So, yeah, so as I'm in the more, when I'm turning, I'm not braking as hard, and then when I go back straight, I'll brake a little bit harder and kind of deal with it like that. So here I'm about 25%, and I'm going straight for a bit here, so it's up to about sort of 40, and then back down because I'm turning again, and then I'll probably squeeze the brake a bit more here. So you're just modulating the brake pressure just to keep the rear under control. And then the dipper, you want to hug this wall really close. So you can almost like double apex it. Normally, I wouldn't drift off of the apex that much, but I think I actually hit the curb and unsettled the car a little bit. But you can, if you do that, then you can just cut back for the sort of second part of the corner. And then, because the track drops away steeply here, you can, you almost want to aim to hit the wall, and then the car will understeer. So I'm turning in too early. So like right here, you would probably think I'm going to hit the wall. And then as the track drops away, I'll just sort of slide away from the wall. And that's just all about kind of getting the car as straight as possible for the exit. And then another difficult braking zone down into the elbow. I actually start braking quite early. Can brake sort of over here, but it's a little bit more sketchy. So I prefer to kind of softly start braking, and then just increase the pressure again once I'm sort of round that right-hander. And then there's two schools of thought for the elbow. The camber on the left side of this line helps you get around the corner. But obviously a natural racing line would be to be out to the right here and then cut back. Or you can kind of do a bit of a hybrid of both, which I guess is kind of what my line is. I actually go a little bit right of the centre line, but then I take quite an early apex. I think if you stay out here too long, you're going to cost yourself time because, as you can see, it's quite dusty out there. And then you just want to watch out for this wall with second gear again through here. Just realised I haven't talked about gears at all, as usual. Watch out for the bit of the wall that sticks out. It's a great way to get some damage. And then that's also your reference for when to pick the throttle back up. So you get to the sticking out part of the wall, hit the throttle, and then hope for the best that you don't hit that wall. Again, you see me kind of drifting over towards the middle. Use all this extra track here to straighten up the braking zone. Like, it's not about taking this corner any quicker because we're going as fast as we can anyway. It's just about straightening up the braking zone. So the 150. And then this is a big stop, so we're going all the way down to second gear. Third might work for you. Another one of those corners where you can get away with both. There's time to be gained and lost with both methods. I hit the curb here. You don't want to hit this apex curb. Just want to kind of get as close to it as you can without actually hitting it. And then another sort of compromise between, you don't want to come into this corner too quick and be over here and then struggling to get around the right hander. So actually kind of brake late and then late apex this first corner. And then this should be, if you're getting the line right through the left, you should be flat through here. We're very close to flat. And then Murray's, which is a pain. So it's a kind of 125 braking marker. Yeah, those cones aren't any use on the left. So 125, and then you just have to watch dipping your right wheels into the grass here, because that will spin you out. And then again, don't hit the apex curb. So basically, once you apex, you're going to try and apex right at the end of the curb, and then pick the throttle back up. Also, don't run into the grass here, because it'll spit you left, and that wall will be ready to end your race. Okay, that's a lap of Bathurst.